Hi Libra, this is Heather, the medium on a mission, and first off, happy birthday to those of you. You may have already just celebrated a birthday, or your birthday is coming up in the month of October. So happy birthday to you first and foremost. And you also, today's the Libra new moon. I'm filming this on September 28th, and so depending on where you live, that's for me, that's where I'm celebrating it, or today's the day, the new moon that's coming in. And the energies around this, I'm never one to look at books or necessarily astrology for kind of the laws and the energies of what they are. I go with kind of what I'm feeling, what spirit gives me, and then validate that through the information that I read. And so I can just tell you personally, I've been feeling a lot of things about October coming up, the energies, the shifting. I kept saying October, November, I feel the big energies. And it's fascinating because I'm feeling it, and I'm it's not just me feeling it. I'm hearing from other people, but it's this interesting feeling of, it's like undertones, but it's a positive, and it's shifting out these things that no longer serve. We're also in the fall equinox. We just celebrated this week. So fall, if you're northern, and then southern hemisphere would be the spring equinox. But the time of equinox is really about, the changing of things, and you're going into a whole new season, and you kind of have to kind of look back and see what served you, what didn't serve you. But I have to tell you, I feel like there's something about October, November, December. October is really where people start to feel it. So some of you might be feeling the energies again. I'm not at all not studied in astrology. I would love to learn more about it. I'm fascinated by it, only because I'm seeing the validation of the feelings that I'm getting and what Spirit's telling me within the planetary alignment. So I'm one of those, I trust Spirit first and foremost, and if they tend to, if they tell me things and it's validated through anything, cards, if it's validated through astrology, I'm bought in. That's it, because I know my guides, what they tell me, and I trust them fully. And so with that being said, there's something really going on, is all I can say. There's an energy shift. Anyone who's an astrologer might know a little bit more about this than I do and can speak to it. But there's something happening. As I'm saying that, I'm getting very lightheaded, and that's when Spirit kind of pulls their energy, pulls my energy up to them, up to that higher vibration. So just be aware of that I might be going on a little bit of a tangent here, but that's usually Spirit stepping in to kind of give a lot more guidance than I'm doing myself. And so so we'll just kind of go from there. The biggest thing, Spirit, the message that I had for you for the month of October, Libra, is around giftedness. And I'm not sure, it's interesting because I just give it as I get it. I don't necessarily, that's the beauty of Spirit. I step out of my logical mind and I let them lead the way. So sometimes the messages don't always make sense for my, in the moment for me, but I just trust it and I give it. And so I'm getting giftedness, and there's something about stepping into the gifts that you have. And I mean, it kind of makes sense with the new moon, and this is your sign, this is your time. If you think about it, you're kind of starting your new cycle for yourself. I mean, that's, we all kind of celebrate the end of the year, the New Year's Eve, but this is your month, this is your new beginning. And so I really feel strongly for you for that. And I feel like this is the time for you to shine and really step up and sort of own your truth, your path, who you are, and not look at sort of society or what the expectations that have been put upon you. So that's what I feel like I'm getting for you for the month of October. But like I said, this is going to be ongoing, so don't be surprised if in the next few months there's a similar theme that's emerging. And so at some of you might be like, yep, got it, I'm on it. Some of you might be dragging, kicking and screaming, I don't want to go down this path. I'm just, oh my gosh, like I don't like change, I don't want to have to do it. But I feel like it's coming. And so, but it's in your highest and greatest good, Spirit. You're not, this life is meant to be abundant and meant to be happy and blessed. And so just know that positive energy is coming in your space, and it's happening. And so it'll be so much easier if you sort of go with the flow and let the wind sort of help you versus like resist it, is all I can say. And so I just feel like that's really strongly for you as well. And so as I'm just sort of tuning in and seeing kind of what messages that I'm getting, and just in terms of any spirits that are stepping forward, I do have a female that's stepping forward. She's stepping forward with another young female as well. And so this could be It could be any number of people to you, but that's the energy of what I'm getting. And it feels like a guide for you. Now, guides can be ones that you've experienced in this life, and guides can be ones that have crossed over, or I'm sorry, ones that have are just angels, guides that have never necessarily come into this life. Maybe you've never had a relationship with them in this life, but they're here for you. And so I just want to honor that connection as well. But there's something about there's a female here that's coming forward to represent a child and that youth as well. So all right, so the way that I'm going to do this is similar to what I've done in the past, but I'll re-explain for those of you who have not seen. So I will do I always like to talk about the body, mind, and spirit, and so I'll do kind of a 3-card spread on that, and I'll follow it up with an affirmation card. So I'll be using the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor for the first round, and then I will be doing, or for the first card, and then the Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reed. And I have to just tell you, Spirit was very insistent upon me using these cards this month, and so I just thought that was fascinating. So I was like, yep, that's what we've got to do. And so far I've done a couple of readings so far, and they've been on point completely. So for what Spirit's aligning my energy to. And then I'll also be using my cards that I've created, and this is When Spirit Speaks. So I've for a little bit of background here, I use these cards to anytime that I was getting signs and symbols for and I don't know if that's really coming into focus, but anytime I was using any sort of getting messages from Spirit, I would document them, and this is the deck that I have. So Spirit will show me those signs and symbols when I communicate to them directly. So the next one I'm getting here, or I will be using, is the affirmations card. So, or affirmators. I'm probably not saying that correctly, but whatever. So these are just affirmation, cute little cards, and I'll put the link to all of the cards as well as my own in the description box below. So with that being said, I think we just jump in and let's get started. So we'll see what Spirit has to say for Libra from a body perspective. So this would be the physical body, anything that you would physically have going on in your life at this time. So this will be stuff that's surrounding you, the environment around you, those type of things. And so just physical, that's all that is. So I'll do 3 cards for each one. I felt like called to do that this month, and so that's what I'll do. And so we'll see what Spirit has to say. So Spirit, what messages do you have for Libra from a physical body perspective for the month of October? What are some of the things that they need to know at this time? What are some of the information? As I'm saying that, I do have a grandfather energy that's coming forward as well. I feel like he may have been a mentor. He may have been someone you looked up to. I feel like he would have provided support in life, and you may have not even had a connection to him, but I feel like he's a smart man, and for whatever reason, he's coming forward as to represent a message that needs to be given at this time. Oh wow, so this the temple path. So I shuffled these cards pretty well. I do it after each one, and this is the one of the cards that came forward for Taurus. So you might have a connection with Taurus. This is for the sun, moon, and rising signs. I apologize, I didn't say that, but there might be a connection that you might have a connection with them as well. So let's see here. All right, so we'll put that down. And so I just feel like this feeling of what I'm really getting with that is around sort of the things that you're doing in this life and trying to figure out, what is my purpose? What is my path? What should I be doing? So anytime, any sort of faith, there's a temple, right? It doesn't have to be a formal religion. It can just be kind of a spiritual religion. There's always some sort of temple that we go to worship or to seek what it is that we are seeking. So it's our kind of true north place. And so I feel like the message for you, that kind of the space that you're in right now in the physical, is really trying to find that. What is my story? What's my gift? What am I doing? What can I do in this world to help others? What is my purpose? And maybe you're not necessarily looking at it from a space of helping others, but you cannot live your soul's purpose or do something that doesn't serve you without serving others. So you might not be going into it with that sense of like, I just want to be happy. If it helps other people, it will help other people. So the bottom line is, you will, when you share your gifts with the world, your gifts, exactly, your gifts. I just want to emphasize that because Spirit's really bringing that in hard. You can't help but help the rest of the world and like raise the vibration. And so, but I hear some of you saying, well, what are my gifts? Like, what are those? What are those? So, and I feel like there's that shedding, right? So you need to sort of let go of the fear of what others think in this 3D, or the fear of, because I do feel like, I feel like a lot of you have that sense of what those gifts are, but we live in the 3D, so we're trying to figure out, okay, well, how can I make money at that? Is that even possible? You don't have to up and quit your day job tomorrow if it's paying the bills, but you have a gift. But you do need to go in that direction. And the door, as you continue to align yourself and do those things, it'll just keep happening more for you. So I can speak to that myself. I'm in that same situation. So, and bottom line, no matter what you're doing, you have the opportunity to give back to the world. It may not be in the space, the exact space and circumstances, but it's a doorway, and it's a doorway into another opportunity that leads to another opportunity that leads to another opportunity. So it's important for you to know this at this time. All right, so we'll keep going. So let's do the good tarot cards. So Spirit, what messages do you have for Libra from a physical body perspective? What do they need to know at this time from a physical body perspective? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, we had a bunch fall there. I'm not going to take all those. These cards are a little hard to shuffle. All right, we'll keep going and just see which one pops out here. All right. Okay. All right, this one. Perfect. Okay. The Two of Air. So I can't even recall, because Spirit was, sometimes when I get channeled messages, I don't always remember them. But talking about the dance, right, in terms of kind of the dance of life, and how you sort of make your way into this life, and the feeling of just sort of going with it, but doing, having that part with life and being a part of it. And so I just feel like for you in particular, that it's really important to just sort of the dance with what you're in right now, and that energy. There's the thoughts, right? These are the things, and you're trying to kind of balance these things. What's going on here? What am I doing? Where am I at? What's going on? I feel like that's a big thing for you as well. And let me see if there's anything else I'm getting. Yeah, I just feel like there's, this is really the card of balancing these things and trying to, like exactly what I was talking about, bringing in the balance of those two energies of, okay, well, this is really what I want to do, but this is sort of what I'm doing at this time. And so I do feel like there is a little bit of juggling going on with your energy in certain circumstances, and the balance of passion versus your gifts, and trying to figure out how to reconcile the two. So I do feel really strongly about that as well. All right, so we'll keep going, and let's see what else. We're going to use my cards on this one and see what Spirit has to say. All right, let's see, Spirit, what messages do you have from a physical body perspective for Libra? All right, so these two popped out, so I'm taking them both. All right, so we've got be bold and trauma. Okay, so what I get around this as I just sort of tune into the message. So this obviously goes with being bold, the being, stepping out, be willing to be in a space of vulnerability and being uncomfortable with being different, right? And so sometimes we can use it as part of the dance, and sometimes we can like stumble and make it so obvious. But this is asking you to really be bold through this life and make it your own. When I get the trauma card, I feel like there is I keep feeling that sort of undertone of fear. There's a fear, and this doesn't have to be, the intensity of some physical issues, but I feel like there's a hard undertone of a fear that is holding you back from really being bold and stepping into this new. As I'm saying that, I'm getting a lot of chills right now, and so Spirit just really wants to emphasize this for you. What is this fear that's holding you back? As I'm that song by Macklemore, like, I wish I I wish I didn't care what other people thought and felt comfortable with myself. It's like, it's really about just like embracing who you are and what you are and making no apologies for it. So I feel like this is really important for you from a physical body perspective and some of the things that you're going through at this time. And Spirit's just asking you to put those aside. Maybe somewhere along the way as a child someone had judged you, or maybe you know, we grow up, it's kind of standard, whatever culture, whatever religion, whatever anything, your parents, your friends, your schools, there's cultures everywhere, right? It doesn't have to just be a society culture. It can be a culture at an organization that you work at. It could be a culture at a school that you go to, at a church that you go to. You might have gone to a church where it was like, okay, it wasn't enough to show up every day. You had to show up and be, you know, wearing perfect clothes, and, you know, you have to tithe. It could be anything, but it's this feeling of like this trauma of not being accepted fully who you are, and feeling of like, maybe as a child or whatever culture you were attached to, the feeling of still wasn't good enough. I keep getting that. It still wasn't good enough. I showed up, but it still wasn't good enough. And so Spirit's just telling you to sort of break from that and be bold and step out, because the only reason it's sort of a trauma for you is because there's an allowance of whatever sort of expectations were being put on you for you to become a part of that, so assimilate to that. So, you know, when there's some people that just don't give a damn what other people think, and it's kind of, they just don't, they know, but they sort of fly above it. And so Spirit's just telling you to kind of fly above, rise above those circumstances, and just be who you are and continue on your path and just sort of dance the dance. And so let's keep going here. So from a mind perspective, let's see what Spirit has to say for Libra from a mind perspective. Spirit, what messages do you have for Libra from a mind perspective? And as I'm just sort of, there's something about the month of March. I'm not sure what this is, but it's almost like I'm getting the period for January through March, but March being important for you as well. So that feels like there's something around that. I don't know if there's a new beginning or what that is, but oh wow. Door to Spirit. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I love this. Oh, okay. So, and this is card 32, and that was card 3. Wow. Okay. So, oh my gosh. So I'm trying to kind of take in all of the feelings and thoughts that I'm getting from Spirit right now. So I feel like this is sort of, you know, this is the mind space of what you've been thinking about, but this is this feeling of like, I want to connect deeper. I want to find how I can deepen that. Where do I need to go? What do I need to do? But it's almost like you've seen the light and you can't go back. And you're aware of things that you haven't been aware of in the past. There's new truths that have been occurring to you. There's new opportunities, and it feels like there's a lot of moving away from what no longer serves you and going through the doorway to Spirit. And Spirit is love. That's it. You're no longer embracing fear. That fear and that trauma, you're going through the space of love. And so I just love that, especially having it be right next to this trauma card, because I was only going to pull one card, but Spirit wants you to know that this is really what you're moving away from in the physical body, or, and said differently, this is an opportunity for you to do that. So some of you might say, yeah, but I'm not going to do it. And so you have that right from your physical body perspective and free will to choose to reject that doorway to Spirit and continue on this path of fear. But this is really up to you. What's your path? What do you want to choose? Does this serve you anymore? If it's your story and it serves you, that's fine. Some people feel comfort in a story, right? And so some people are like, yeah, you know, and when I was young, blah, 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 blah. We all have a story. And so you have to decide if it serves you anymore. If it's not serving you and it's time for you to step outside of that, then seek love. Spirit is love. Open that doorway, because only you can do that. You know, the doorway is such a significant sign of change and spirit and transition for me, of moving into a new opportunity. And so I just feel like that's something that Spirit's really trying to emphasize with your message here at this time. So I just think that's absolutely beautiful. Just that's just beautiful. And so let's see what else Spirit has to say from a mind perspective for Libra for the month of October. What Spirit messages do you have for Libra for the month of October? Okay, there's one that fell. So I'm going to take that. Messages of fire. All right. Okay. So fire. Yes, 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 yes. I love this. I love this. Okay. So what I really feel like this is this feeling of sort of, I'm sorry, this is a messenger of fire. And so what I really see like this is this feeling of looking forward. Anytime you have fire too, I mean, obviously that's a fire sign. You've got your fire signs in the mix there. But I really feel it's that intensity of energy and release. And I get a ton of release around this. What no longer serves me. I'm sort of burning the bridge, and I'm walking to the other side. I'm not looking back. That's the image I see very, very strong for you at this time. And it's the feeling of, I'm okay with that. Like I am fire. It's time to release the things that no longer serve me and walk forward. It's time to move beyond these things, because that's not who I am. That's not my story. That was a chapter of a book that I am way beyond. I'm not in that page anymore. I've moved past that page, and I'm moving forward into new beginnings. And you can see her kind of looking over her shoulder, and there's a significance to, I have to say, to the side that she's looking to. So if you look at her, she's looking towards the left of where she's standing. So it would be your right, but if you look in her position, it's the left. The left is significant to Spirit. And so when I get massive, I mean, it's kind of the feminine, right? And it's the receiving. Whenever I get strong hits from Spirit, it's on my left side. And so that's where, she's kind of looking to that and saying, all right, let's do this. Let's do it. And so she's in that space of fire and intensity around that, and just really having no regrets around that either. So, yeah, so I feel like that's really good for your energy as well. So gosh, it's beautiful. All right, so let's see what else Spirit has from a mind perspective. Okay. The messages from a mind perspective for Libra for the month of October. All right, choices. Oh, all right. Okay. So this, I mean, I think it's self-explanatory here, right? So you decide, do you want to look this way, or do you want to look back? Which way are you going? Are you choosing Spirit, or are you choosing this space? And so I feel like this is really what this is about for you. But the other thing I'll say too is some of you have already made that choice, and you're looking forward, and you're moving through the doorway of love and Spirit. There's going to be some major new beginnings for you. There's going to be some major new, like, I just see like this like heavy cloak on you, and you dropping it and saying, you know what, what served me and what kept me warm is no longer, and now it's holding me back. And so you're moving forward, but you have some major choices to make as a result of that. So sometimes people feel like when they do that shift and they like step into their power, and then they get that choices and it feels heavy. It's not the choices that are heavy. It's the weight of having to sort of shift in your energy, and that sometimes can be hard. But the biggest thing I'll say to you, and Spirit showed this to me, and it was kind of life-changing, sit with a thought, sit with an energy. So like sit with something you know is not true. And if it's not true, feel what that feels like. Like say something that you know is not true. Spirit will give you'll get an energy vibration, and it's going to feel heavy. And so that's when you know it's not the right decision for you. So just know that's really important for you. And so let's jump on to the Spirit messages. What does Spirit have for Libra for the month of October? Spirit, what messages do you have for Libra for the month of October? What is this? Is the kind of the highest guidance you can get at this time. This is kind of the highest message. What's going on? What do they need you to know at this time? Let's see. Okay, so this one popped out here. Whew. Okay, second chakra, Archangel Ariel. So this is the card 3, 6, or 9, and the second chakra being your sacral chakra. So you've got your root, and then you've got your sacral chakra. And this is all around sort of relationships. You can see kind of the orange, the intensity. Oh, wow. I'm just now seeing this. This is kind of crazy, guys. At the beginning, I had mentioned seeing a female coming in with another like child, and I'm kind of, ooh, these are those kind of things, like, it's just, that's crazy validation right there. So you can see there's like a, it's almost like a little girl that's right here, right below her. This is almost the exact image I was seeing, with her sort of standing over her and watching over her. That is so crazy. And you guys, I don't know if you can see it, but when I look through the viewfinder at this image, I see a face here as well. This being the mouth, this being the nose, this being the eye. Wow, this is quite amazing here. So, wow. So this is really around kind of those relationships, and this relationships doesn't have to be romantic. It can be the relationships that you hold with other people. Again, I feel like this is really about sort of your relationship with the world and how you're received and perceived in the world, but most importantly, how you feel that you relate to other people. And so again, you can be in a space with someone where that you may not agree with them, they may not agree with you, but it's still in that space of love and receptivity of that connection that you have. And so this is really about looking at that connection and with others, and knowing that you're not going to be rejected because of you being who you are, and that your relationships shouldn't be defined on their expectations of you. So if you have someone who expects certain things of you, be who you are, do what you want, and they're going to have to realign to that energy, or they will move away. And so it's almost like, I feel like there's been this fear in your life of, and some of you, of, well, what if I actually step out and be who I am? How will that be perceived? Some of you might be coming, making a declaration in terms of sexuality, and that can be heavy as well, because there's a fear to it, right? What if I tell people who I am and what I really enjoy, and and share my truth with others? That can be freaking frightening, especially when you've lived in a life where you're expected to act a certain way. And it's undertones, right? Society's really good from a young age of teaching you how to act, how to be. You've got rules and regulations and, all of these things that we have to conform to. So Spirit's just telling you that it'll be okay, that no one, you are protected, and but working on that second chakra, that being that sacral area, that is so important. As I'm saying that, it's almost like it's on fire for me right now. I feel it, the intensity of it. Some of you may already be working on it, and Spirit's just acknowledging where you're at in this space. So I feel like we've got two, right? We've got the people that are in that space, and yes, this is a validation. You know it. You've been working on this. This is exactly I'm reading your life story for the past year or several years. Some of you are saying, I got to do this. This is no longer serving me. And my story, okay, it may have been good at parties to tell. It's a little bit of a Debbie Downer story, but I can't do it anymore. And so you have to decide what story you want to tell for your life. Because the other thing too, I'll say is, energy and vibration. When you tell a story, it's true. When you tell it, it is true. And so do you want it to keep being true, or do you want to move past that? And so you have to decide what you want there. So let's pull another card here in terms of Spirit. What other Spirit messages do you have for Libra for the month of October? What are some other things that they need to know at this time? Some insights. What are some things, Spirit, share with us? Okay, all right. Okay, I love it when they pop out because it's just kind of a no-brainer. I don't even have to pick. Queen of Fire. Wow. Okay, so we have the messenger of fire here, right? And so this is that, it's almost like a little girl, and this becomes the queen. Oh my gosh, this is so, this reading is amazing, I have to tell you. I've got chills, and she's looking towards her like, yep, this is who I am. And it's almost like that sacred heart fire in the heart area. And this is you, if you think about the sacred heart and kind of what that is, it's that burning desire, the heart, the feelings. And she's now wearing the crown. She's got the heart above her because Spirit's guiding her, and she is the queen. She's stepped into that space. The messenger has now become the queen. And so, oh wow, this is just so beautiful. Oh my gosh, this is, Wow, it's just a beautiful connection there. I think it's self-explanatory to everything that's been said here, but it's really owning. I mean, look at this. If you think of those things, where she's been, where she's at now, and where she's going, she's now holding the fire. She is the fire. And so that's a really powerful message for you there. So gosh, Libra, yours is kind of one of the most amazing so far. So we'll see. Let's see what other messages that Spirit has for you for the month of October. What other Spirit messages do you have for Libra? What other things do they need to know at this time that serves their highest and greatest good for this month? Okay. All right. So we'll pop out that card. Okay. We've got Free Spirit here. So this is very much Spirit telling you, you know what? When you're a free spirit, you don't care what other people think. You are sort of doing your thing and you're just living on the edge there. So you've got to really step into your spirit and just and honor it, align with it. Don't reject it. Don't reject that aspect of yourself. Really own your path in this life, and don't worry about what other people think. It's so important for you to just really step into your power and in your own strength, and be in that space of love, and just own it. That's, I mean, there's no other way to say it. That's kind of what they're saying. You know, the queen doesn't care. You know, she reigns the kingdom. She doesn't care. She has the power, and she will do what she wants. And so this is really this. We come here to live and be happy, you know, and to experience things. And you can't do it when you've sort of imprisoned yourself in this mental space. And so you've really got to kind of reject that for your life and move forward. And again, some of you are, and Spirit's acknowledging that. Some of you, Spirit's saying you've done it. You're in this space where you've sort of moved past all of this stuff that no longer serves, and you are the queen, and you are in that space of free spirit. So good for you. So let's see what affirmation Spirit has for you for the month of October. I feel like it's going to be fun. I mean, they're all kind of fun, but this is it's just beautiful here, what we've got. So I just love it. All right, let's see. One more. Okay, there we go. Self-love. Oh wow. And so there's something significant too to what I was mentioning about the romantic dynamic and who you are. I feel like that's the first thing that just kind of popped into my head when I saw that, about the connection of, you know, some of you might be acknowledging, you know, your preferences or stuff like that, and maybe some might be rejecting of a relationship that you are choosing to be a part of, or someone you're choosing to love. And so Spirit is just saying, you know what, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Be that free spirit. Don't be that queen of fire. Don't worry about it. So self-love. I openly embrace a feeling of self-love, the PG kind. I love myself because I understand myself. Let me make sure you can see that here. I love myself because I understand myself. I love myself as the most committed partner I will ever have. I show myself love any way that I can. And when I screw up, I remember to be sweet and gentle with myself. If not, I'm going to make myself sleep on the couch. Got that, self? I love it. That's so beautiful. Ugh, I love that. So that's just a beautiful message to end with. I just want to make sure to emphasize these cards for you as well, like the things that, you know, really have popped out to me here. This whole, you know, you've got these, the choices here, the doorway to spirit, these, oh gosh, it just really pops out to me in terms of what's going on for you and really where you're at with this month. So I do hope this message was helpful. I think it's a beautiful reading. I'm so excited for you guys. I feel like, you know, I just want to say, like, you go girl or boy or whatever you identify with. Own yourself. Like, don't the opinions of others don't matter to you. It's none of their business. It's none of your business. And so change, you know, let your story be sort of the light that carries you through this life and allow you to live your best life. So I do hope that was helpful. I wish you all the best for October. Many blessings. Namaste.